SLP is sitting at 4.5 cents after the triple in reading costs. What do we all think about that?
Hasn't
How's it?
realized yet because nobody's burning the SLP yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be interested to
Everybody's
see like a
24
week from
hours.
now.
Right, 24 hours till breeding starts up again, basically, once the change is made.
I mean, there's people much more in the loop telling us we're not the prophets. It's just
Yeah,
a
we're
hand me
not the
down.
prophets. I think that was like just obvious that that was coming
Yeah.
right after the 10 millionth Axie. Like the 10 millionth Axie promotion was to try and spur breeding and burn of SLP by the community, which it did. I don't think it solves the issue. I don't even think raising the breeding cost triple the time solves the issue. I think the issue, and I was listening to Bryce's space this morning, and he was able to, in more than 180 characters than a tweet, articulate himself a lot more on his thoughts on what Loot Squad's building and how they intend to keep people in the economy. And I actually really, really agree with Bryson on this. I think it's important to like help teach scholars in our community about financial independence and saving and not just cashing out all their SLP, possibly building towards like decentralized finance protocols that they can use on Ronin and help people learn how to save. Even if that is like, teaching scholars how they can save and invest in AXS right now easily on the Ronin decks. Any scholar now can transfer their pay immediately to AXS or Ethereum or stable tokens, and they don't need to keep it in SLP. I think number one, that's very, very important. Number two, I think it's important to learn that scholars can save, even if it's a portion, even if it's like 10% or 30% of the SLP they earn, they can start to save that up. And it's important to like not just purchase assets to play on your own. I think Bryson's correct here. Maybe you stay as a scholar and you stay a part of the LEU, but you purchase assets to then scholar a family member of your own, scholar a new person in your community, and get your own scholars that can also be a sub guild of the LEU, bringing you in income. You know what I mean? And that's your assets, your guild bringing in income. And I think that's a very powerful thing that a lot of it is on education, like top down, and helping the community realize how they can grow from just being a scholar into a community manager, into a scholarship manager themselves, and into running their own guild. And like I think you see a lot of that, like, we see it even within, like, we already see, like, Resta and Jason and John Gilbert and a lot of others have really stepped up to be able to earn more and do other things outside of just playing the game, whether that be doing video editing or helping us run the Twitter or coaching others in the Discord or just being active in the community. You don't have to just be good at the game to move up within the guild. Like our guild is run differently than a lot of other guilds out there, and we're not just like looking to suck as much value out of the community as possible. In fact, ourselves as investors on our end have not removed one penny from the Axie Infinity ecosystem yet. We have not removed one penny in the 6 months we've been doing this from the Axie Infinity ecosystem. We've sat here and tried to figure out how do we build an economy, how do we build an ecosystem that people want to be a part of and a guild that people want to be a part of, and how do we make this fun and entertaining and also profitable for everybody for the long haul, and we're sitting here thinking about, do we need to put multiple Axies on each scholarship account or multiple teams so that a scholar, is it more important, like, is earning the importance, or is it importance to have a quality scholarship account in the future to onboard players to the game, like something that's fun, something that, like, okay, I'm going to want a scholarship on this account because it gives me 4 or 5 teams to play with. One thing that I thought Bryson said today that was very interesting in his space is they're working on code for tournaments, where there will be a pool of Axies for the tournament. So no more will you go up against somebody like Indez who has 100 Axies in his account, and you can't really plan for what he's going to play against you when you only have one scholarship team of 3 Axies or maybe just a few teams. It's going to be a shared pool in the tournament that everybody's going to choose from and play with from and have a limited amount of. So I think that's really important. And like building within the community and things like that, I think are very important. Very, very important things to look for in the future. And I think that's my take on, you know, Axie Infinity, SLP. I don't think what we're doing right now really helps SLP price. I think, like I said this in Axie chat last night, breeders are the buying power for SLP. So it has to be profitable for breeders to breed, for them to want to buy SLP and to cause that buy pressure. Scholarship managers right now are creating the sell pressure. The majority of scholars onboarded right now are onboarded to make a side income and for a living, and they want to cash out the money. They're not doing it for fun and entertainment and the enjoyment. And I say that loosely. Like, obviously, we do have a lot of scholars that really do enjoy the game, that are not going anywhere. You know, no one's really quit because of the SLP price going down. I just think you see the tightening of, and I think this is good for the long term economy of Axie Infinity. You see the tightening of the economy, and that you're no longer able to just click a button and earn, and you have to be really engaged in the game, understand the game mechanics, the cards, energy, you know, how people are dealt cards and timing and card counting and stuff like that. If you really want to grow on the leaderboard and earn, and I think that's healthy long term, because it, right now and in the past, people were onboarding scholars just for profits, and I don't think that's good for the economy long term. I think we need to be onboarding scholars that are actually interested in playing the game, enjoy the game, and are also interested in the economy, but want to know and play the game. And I think a lot of those changes, like the 800 MMR change to earnings, the way the meta is changing a little bit and making it a more competitive game, kind of forces players to do that. You know, it's no longer just a click button earning, which I think is very important. I think it's good. So, you know, I think it's just a time thing. I think we're waiting on V2 and other types of Axie syncs and land play, and I think it's very apparent that this team is working very hard. They've shipped a lot of things, and people always get that, like, want it now in the lull, because like, as an investor, you're not like the person actually like working on anything, so you don't see in the background like the day-to-day work. So like, in between like AXS staking dropping and the Ronin decks, people kind of freak out. They're like, what's next, what's next, when's what's next, you know? And then deck stops, everybody's happy about the decks, we're all good, and then after a little bit it's like, okay, what's next, what's next, what's next? You gotta look back. You look back at the history here and what all's shipped so far and how much this team's already shipped. We know we have a little bit of a problem in the economy. We're trying to do small incremental fixes to it as we make our way towards V2. We know that it can't be the absolute fix forever. It's just going to take some time. We do see a lot of outside money coming in. We know that outside money is going to have to come in the form of sponsorships and advertising and stuff to help move the Axie economy along, and that's absolutely happening. So I think that's our Axie Infinity video for today on the Axie breeding change, the price of SLP, and where we see the Axie Infinity economy going in the future.